Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nimashi Fernando, the Seminar Secretary of the Sri Lanka Energy Managers Association. And on behalf of the SLEMA, I take pleasure in warmly welcoming you to our 74th Energy Management Forum titled Leveraging Census Data for Sustainable Energy Planning in Sri Lanka, Census of Population and Housing 2024. This EMF will be conducted by Dr. Chandani Vijayabandara, Director, Population Census and Demography Division of the Department of Census and Statistics. Dr. Chandani Vijayabandara is a highly accomplished researcher, educator, and statistician with over 30 years of experience in the field of official statistics. Her expertise spans across applied econometrics, labor market studies, and demographic analysis, with a special focus on the informal sectors and household survey data. Dr. Chandani earned her PhD in economics from the University of Colombo in 2022. Her educational background also includes a master's degree in international development from the International University of Japan, an MSc in applied statistics from the University of Colombo, and a postgraduate diploma in population studies from the University of Colombo. Dr. Chandani's career at the Department of Census and Statistics began in 1991, where she held various roles, ultimately serving as the Director of Statistics since 2021. In this leadership position, she oversees the Census of Population and Housing, the largest national data collection project in Sri Lanka. She has also played an integral part in the design and execution of numerous national surveys, including those on labor, forced participation, child labor, and informal sector employment. So, without further ado, I take pleasure in inviting Dr. Chandani Vijayabandara to conduct the presentation. Dr. Chandani, the floor is on to you, ma'am. And audience, if you have any questions, please direct them to the chat box, in the Q&A chat box. And also, you could raise your hands during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nimashi. I'm Chandani, actually. I think you gave a very nice introduction. Thank you very much for that. First, thank you very much for inviting Department of Census and Statistics. I hope you all can hear me clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you very much for inviting DCS because as Nimashi very nicely explained, we did our census in last 2024, and now we are getting ready to release most of our data from the census, and this is a very nice chance for us to share our data, especially with the energy managers. So thank you very much for this opportunity, especially to Mr. Harsha Vikramasinghe. Okay. First, as when we see why population data is important for planning, you all know that energy planning without population data is like building a power plant without knowing who it serves. Especially population data, why we do a lot of special things for people, especially when we plan energy, how to say, distribution or any other energy related activities. We need reliable demographic and housing data in order to achieve the best output of the project. Census is one of the major source of information for those activities because it gives you a lot of data up to the lowest administrative level, which is Grama Niladhari level. Especially, I will let you know how we have done the census and what are the outputs of the census data. As the Department of Census and Statistics, we provide official statistics on population and housing, and that will ensure for the energy sector for them to see household level energy demand estimations and to have some idea about what will happen before, what happens before, what will going to happen, and also to identify electrification gaps and also to see infrastructure expansions. Uh, so for these, I will discuss what the census gives you with the newest census data. If you like, some of you may aware about the population census, but for those who are for those who are not so much familiar with the census data, I will just explain briefly what is a census. You all know, usually a census conducts in once in 10 years. Our first census in Sri Lanka, scientific census, was conducted in 1871. And after more than 150 years, like after the 1871 census, the next census was in 1881. In that way, we means the government authority who is supposed to conduct the census at the time, they conducted a census, population census, in 10-year period, in a year ending with 1. So our census we conducted 2024, we were supposed to conduct that in 2021. What happens, you all know that due to COVID and the followed recession, we could not conduct that in 2021. We conducted and completed in 2024. The data collection or the census is a process of activities. We are planning for the census for few years, and we conduct the census in stages. As you all remember, first our first activity is to demarcate all the census blocks in Sri Lanka by preparing census maps that we did for the 2021 census, actually, which was conducted in 2024. We started our mapping process is around 2017, and we mapped all the census block with digital maps. And after preparing maps in the second stage, what we do is we go to each and every unit in the census block, and we paste a red label, unique ID for each census unit, and do a listing, which we call a listing stage. I think you all can remember in your doorstep, we pasted a red label during that period. That was in 2023. Then using that list, in the next stage, we visit to each and every unit that we have listed to count the persons and to collect information about the housing and persons, and information about the persons, individuals, and the housing. So that is called data collection or the enumeration period. That was took place during October to December in 2024. Right? And when we do that, uh, what we do is we call that method the de jure method. We collect information from the persons from their usual place of residence in order to uh, maintain the validity of data. That means in a census, main objective is to count persons and houses without duplicating or without missing anyone from the census. So that is our main objective. So in that way, we cover usual residents of the country and count them. And we declare a date as census date because census is a stock. Census count is a stock. We declare our date as December 19th, 2024. And accordingly, our census data, most of the population related information is valid to that date, and it is a stock because you all know that population and other information is dynamic information. So not only Sri Lanka, but in all other countries. This is the method that used to collect data on census. So, our census data, uh, which we provide, like which I am going to discuss in later my slides, uh, is uh, is is that like it is relevant to December 2020 is 2024 December 19th, right? And actually, the Department of Census and Statistics alone can't do this work because we have to count more than 21 million persons and more than 6 million housing units. So more than around 8 million all the buildings. So we take the support from the government agencies, especially the district administration, district secretary, and the additional secretaries and the divisional secretaries uh, supported us as a like um, as they managed the administrative activities of the census. So around 40,000 census officers were utilized during the census activity. Accordingly, in the 2024 census, we found about 21 million 7.7 or 0.781 thousand 8,000 population in the country, and of that, 48.3% are male and 51.7 are female. The important thing here is in the country, majority of the population are female. It is around 51%. Uh, and I think this is same for the last census also. And once we see uh, this as what has happened between the two censuses, the previous census we conducted in 2012, and we found the population as 21.4 million, and this time we found 21.8 million. So the gap is about 1.4 million increase of population is that. And when we see for the male and female, we find that for both there is an increase, but more female population, the increase is greater for the female. Then by sector, I'm because it's like half an hour, so I'm making my presentation little faster. If you have any questions, we can discuss in a later stage. Once we consider these sectors in Sri Lanka, we consider three main sectors: urban, rural, and estate. You all know what is estate. Estate is to represent the plantation communities, and especially when we provide statistics, we provide estate sector separately. Uh, Between the two censuses, 2012 and 2024, we can see what has happened. The major increase in population can be observed from the rural sector. And in estate sector, a slight decline can be observed. In the urban sector, increase, but it is not much as the rural sector. Because male female distribution is also important. Therefore, when we see the sectors, here you can see four sectors because this time we expanded urban sector again into two groups, urban and urban estate. Urban estate again, estate urban again means the agricultural areas which are under municipal and urban councils. And once we consider these four sectors also, we find that in all sectors, female percentage is higher compared to male percentage. Then population by district, Colombo, Gampaha. In that way, you can see this time Gampaha population is higher than the Colombo population. The blue line shows you the 2012 census data, and the 2024 data gives you the orange color one. Last census, Colombo gives you the highest population size, but this year, the census 2024 shows you that Gampaha has more population than Colombo. This is a usual residence population, especially, and the lowest population is from Mullaitivu district. Then usually the districts in North Province gives us the lowest population numbers. Right. Then population distribution by age group. This is very important. Why? The country's population, and like we can divide the population into dependent groups and working age group. Here we consider the population, especially the children who are in age 0 to 14 year as the dependent children, and elderly population who are age 65 and above as the elderly, and those who are in between age 15 to 64 as working age population. You all can see this time our elderly population has increased. It was in 2012, it was 7.9%, and this time it is about 12.6% of the total population age 65 and above. Actually, if we consider age 60 and above, more than this, it is about 18%. 18% of the total population is age 60 and above. So our elderly population is increasing. And in the other way, if you can see the child population 0 to 14, here we consider only up to 14, that was from 2012 25%, and this time it's about 20%. And working age population percentage does not show huge change, because from the increase and the decline in the elderly and the children, we can't see a huge difference of the working age population in that way. When we calculate the dependency ratio, which gives you like the total of the children and elderly divided by the working age population, uh, it's about, I think it's about 49.8%. That means uh, when we take 100 working age population, they have to take care about 50 dependents. Actually, it is 1/2. We can say half as the dependency ratio. And if once we consider age 60 as the elderly cutoff limit, so that again we have to consider this as a considerable issue of demographic issue in the country. And for different districts, we can see different dependency ratios. Lowest one from Colombo district and the highest dependency ratio from Mathur district. Of the country, when we provide statistics for the population, we provide ethnic composition also. We find that majority of the population are Sinhalese, it is about 74%. And then the second is Sri Lankan Tamils, it is about 12.3, and Sri Lankan Muslims or Moors, it is about 10.5%. Then Indian Tamils 2.8%, and the other percentages that include all Burghers, Malay, Chetty, Bharata, Vedda, all other foreigners who are living here as usual residents, they are in this 0.3% group. I'm moving to this table, which shows you a very important thing. From the date of the first scientific census, 1871 March 27th, how the population has been increased, and where are we now? You all can see in 1871, the reported population in Sri Lanka, enumerated population in Sri Lanka, it was around 2.4 million. And every 10, the census reported the values for every 10 years, and some period, due to different reasons like World War or some economic reasons, the census was not conducted. But most of the time, the census was there in 10 years time. You can see in 1981 March 17th, the reported census population was 14.8 million. And in 2012, because 2001 census, due to the different situations, we could not complete the census, but that estimation is there. But what I want you to pay your attention is to the average annual growth rate. Our population growth rate was around, excuse me, 1 minute, please. Very sorry. Our highest population growth was reported around 1953 census. This is actually considering the decennial increase, intercensual increase, and the average annual growth rate is calculated in that way. But in recent past, you all can see our population rate, increase of the population rate has declined. That means our population is increasing, but the rate of increase has declined. So last census, it was around 0.7%. And this census, we find that it is about 0.5%. Right. The density, population density is also important. I have included here 4 consecutive census years, 81, 2001, 2012, and 2024. Around 1981, when we consider Sri Lanka, Our population density, that means the number of population for square kilometer, per square kilometer, it's about 230 persons per square kilometer. But what has happened now, it's about 350. This is important to see when you plan your energy activities or any other planning activities, how the population density is distributed when we consider the districts. Colombo shows you the highest population density, and it was true for all the previous censuses. And the second is Gampaha. In that way, the columns gives you the rank. You all can see for the 2012 and 2024, the ranking is almost same. Only few districts change a little bit. Other than that, Colombo is the first one and Mullaitivu is the last when we consider the density. Right. Then the average household size. Average household size means when we conduct a census, we collect information considering the household. We visit a housing unit, we identify a unit, and then when we collect information from the for the persons, we collect considering the household. Household means the persons who are living in a unit who prepare their food together will be considered as a household. Like if the persons living in a unit separately prepare their food, if there are two groups who are preparing their food separately, then they will be identified as two households. In that way, census collect who is the head of the household and relationship to head of the household and all other demographic information with respect to this household related persons, right? Then we are able to calculate the average household size. That means in a household, how many persons are there on average. In 2012, that was 3.9. Here, 2024, we find that it is 3.5. Here in the down, you all can see not only like Sri Lanka, the difference in Sri Lanka is depicted in all districts, and it is true for all districts between the two. Household size is declining. There may be reasons like more nuclear families, because here in previous era we may had extended families, extended households, but now we are began now the country, our families become more nuclear like families, so that may be one reason for the household size, and also the fewer number of children per family, or the migration, or many reasons can be there uh, for this decline. So it's, again, it's important. Right. Then we come to the housing. In the census, we collect not only population, we collect about housing. There are about 6.0 million housing units in Sri Lanka. Housing doesn't mean that buildings, because there is another statistics for census units. Housing is where the households are located, where we live. Housing, uh, when we say housing, there are three other units that we identify in a census: housing unit, collecting living quarters, residential institutes, and non-residential institutes. Here I discuss only about the housing, where households, where people live, and the collective living quarters and the residential institutes also a place where people live, but it's not, the families do not live there. So I focused on housing here. About on this housing related information, we collected uh, two type of information about the housing types and housing condition, and also the household related information. Here, when we see the full country, the highest density in housing units we can see from Gampaha, and next Colombo and Kurunegala. The darker areas are for higher number of housing units, and for the lighter areas are with lower number of housing units. And this distribution is very important, and this is for 2024. Uh, we can compare with the last census also all these figures and see what has happened during the period, whether the housing units, number of housing units are have been increased or declined. So it has been increased. This is how it has happened. When we consider Sri Lanka in 2012, about 5.2 million housing occupied housing units were there. Now it is about 6.0 million. Why I say occupied housing unit? When we visit the housing unit during the census, we find that some housing units are vacant due to different reasons. Maybe the full family is migrated and there is no one living there, or due to some other reason, parent internally migrated to their children and the their main house is closed. Or so these type of reasons may be there. For this count, we use only the occupied housing unit at the moment, census moment. And the percentage of increase between the two censuses is about 16, like 15.8% for the Sri Lanka. In the urban sector, it is about 15.4, and the estate sector, the increase is not much. You all can understand that estate sector housing is very special because that is provided by the estate managers for the workers who are living there. So that number of housing units in the estate sector has not uh, we can't see a huge increase in that as a percentage. In the rural sector, number of occupied units has been increased about 16.76%. We collected some information about the housing unit, in which year that house is built or constructed. You all can see the majority of units were constructed before 1992, and like in previous recent years like 2021, 2022, 2023, we cannot see a huge increase in housing, the number of housing constructed houses, but majority are below, like before the 2017. And so these information will be available, that's in a like coming our final report in March. That's why I have included this as provisional. I have included this especially for this group, because that this will be important for you to see the quality of housing, uh, the housing age and all will be important for your side. Therefore, that's why I have included as the provisional figures. Then we take the structure of the housing. We find that in Sri Lanka, majority of the houses are single-storied houses, single house, single-storied, and other like single houses and the attached houses separately. You all can receive this information separately for single houses and attached houses. Uh, and we to give you whether the housing units are permanent, semi-permanent, or improvised. We collected information on the type of wall, type of what is the material used for walls, floor, and roof. Here, when we see consider the walls in Sri Lanka, majority of the walls are with of the housing units bricks or cement blocks, and floors are with sorry the roof is with roofs are with asbestos or tiles. And here these two, and I think I haven't included here the floor. uh, the floor is with the cement majority, and that will be used to declare the give to give you whether the housing units are permanent or semi-permanent or improvised. And the tenor, when we consider this is also a provisional figure, we all can see that most of the about 84% of the housing units owned by a household member. And also there are free of rent, encroached or other. And I find it's important to see that uh, lease or rent, government or privately owned houses are there. About these are the percentages. Then, when we consider the other facilities like basic facilities, drinking water, electricity, and sanitation, uh, about 39% or 38.9% of the households obtain drinking water mainly from the National Water Supply and Drainage Board. About 98% of the households use electricity from the national grid as the main source for lighting. And about 92% of the households have their own toilets for their exclusive use. So I'm making a little faster. I have included some provisional figures which are little directly relevant to energy information. We collected information from the units, which is and asking what is their main type of cooking fuel. We find that still about 55% of the households they use firewood as the main type of cooking fuel, and about 42.4% their main cooking fuel is gas. All others, biogas, which is like sustainable, which is very relevant to sustainable energy, it gives you about 0.1% of the household gives us that about that is their main fuel for cooking. And I took firewood and gas. What is the distribution for uh, by district for 2 census years? You all can see the use of firewood has the percentage of using firewood has declined for all the districts compared to 2012. And gas using cooking fuel that has increased significantly from 2000 to 2024. You all can see Mullaitivu and Kullyanochchi district in 2012. They have not, it is a very insignificant percentage reported that they are using gas for their cooking fuel, but now their percentage is also increased. So, and what is the source of lighting for the household? Electricity from main grid or rural hydro plant projects, it's about 98%. And here, from the solar power, we took some information whether they are using solar power, whether it is grid connected or standalone, gives equal percentage, about 1% of the households, their main source of lighting as the solar power for each grid connected and standalone. Right. I try to make it little faster because of the limited time. Thank you very much. And I have included only few information. A lot of information are there by now in our website where you can visit and find and download with Excel formats up to GN level. And we will give you our final report in the next month, end of the next month, March. There also you can find a lot of information. Again, thank you very much for giving us this chance to show you statistics on what we have found from the census. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chandani. It was a very interesting presentation, I should say. So, and I'm sure the audience too will have very interesting questions for you. The Q&A session will be moderated by Mr. Harsha Vikramasinghe, who is also a past president of the SLEMA. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Chandani Vijay Bandara. It was a very revealing experience. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but I will keep it to a minimum, giving other participants also a chance. But firstly, I would like to know the meaning of the term on housing, free of rent. What does that mean?
Mr. Harsha, that this can be free of rent, can be in different ways. If they don't have that, sure, for sure they are not, that is not belong to their member of household. And sometimes that, household is when we collect data from a household, uh, usual residents of the household will be considered as the household member. If the, like, I'm living in a house, my parent is not with me, but the house is belongs to my one of my parents, so that is also free of rent. Then if I don't have to pay rent, if I am provided by my office and I don't have to pay anything for this one, it is, if that's so, then it is again free of rent. In that way, if the household do not have to pay for this renting activity, which they are they which if the household is not owned by one of them, then that will be considered as free of rent. Not only one way, but in different, there can be different situations.
Now I understood that. So even when we undertake the bill analysis, the electricity bills, when we analyze, we also see a large number of zero consumption households in the country. Actually, around, if I'm not mistaken, close to about 10%. So is this value tallying with the number of vacant households uh, discovered by
Yeah,
your census?
that I think very good question, Mr. Harsha. We can discuss that one because that maybe that will be very equal, very much equal. These percentages can be equal because here with that number I don't have in my hand, but we have calculated the it is around 1%. I think I have to check that. Uh, that will be because even in Colombo we found that even in some condominiums there are people, there are owners are there, but there no one is living there because it is like vacant at the census moment. And I think we all can check our data accordingly.
Yes, thank you so much. And Dr. Amila Vikramasinghe, you have raised your hand. Please present your case.
Thank you, Mr. Harsha. And let me first thank Dr. Vijay Bandara for the excellent presentation. I think it's a fascinating presentation. So many things to discuss about. But in relation to the statistics you presented, and also the way they have been collated and presented, analyzed, and also I'm also fascinated from the fact that this statistics department has been conducting the every 10 years this for such a long period, and has been consistent with that, so that we have such a good set of data over such a long period. So for that I think the entire country should be thankful to this organization, and I see that the quality, the professionalism being maintained even by your presentation. It is quite evident that this department is doing a wonderful job, quite commendable job, and thank you for that. And I think Slima is privileged to have this kind of a first-hand insightful the discussion with somebody from statistics department. So I thank you for uh, presenting this to us. From so many questions I have, or interesting things we have noticed. One thing is I remember now you showed and you explained that Mulati, some of these questions actually are not really statistics or data, but beyond that. So maybe beyond the scope of statistics department also. Now you mentioned that the numbers in the northern districts, Mullatiu, the population and all these, even household, I mean, the number of houses, everything is very small. So do you know, I think these districts were, even recently brought up, like, they were introduced only recently. So what could be the reason to identify a particular area as a district? Which may create so many other complications. Even in your presentations now you have 25 separate entries. So why do we do that? I may have more questions if Mr. Harsha allow me to continue, but this is something I was like really I, of course we knew that this is a small these are small areas, but what's the reason to have them identified as separate districts, if you know?
Thank you very much for your nice comment. And yes, the census is a huge and complex activity DCS has to complete. And I actually, at this moment, I have to say thank you to our people also. With their support and our uh, work was very successful. And this question for me, as you said correctly, I'm not able to give you a correct answer. But when usually, as I understood, there are 25 administrative districts. So for the administrative purposes, different kind of demarcations are there, like police divisions, mm, uh, how to say, the medical, for the medical purposes, medical demarcations, medical Ministry of Health has their different demarcations, police department has their different demarcations, and the registration, births, deaths registration, register general office has their demarcations. But this is mainly, as we understand, we provide district level information in order to, because this administrative system is in this way, and we are supposed to provide, when we see from the previous censuses also, our objective is to provide comparable results in order to take policy, administrative, and other planning decisions. So it's like we are supposed to provide statistics at this level. So that's how we do. And I can't say why that has created. I don't have any knowledge to answer that one. Thank you.
Dr. Chandani, I can help you there. Actually, it is the colonial rulers who have demarcated our country into 9 provinces and this 20 odd districts, and these are absolutely out of date, out and out of sync with the present day requirements. We have seen that. One thing, Dr. Amila, is the geographical expanse should be in a manageable level. So, if you have a district administrative center, it shouldn't be, say, 100 miles away from the center, something like that. There is a geographical limitation, but leaving that aside, it's the number of people which is mainly the concern. So these maps date back to pre-colonial, colonial era, and we have done absolutely nothing to change this for the better. And to add to this, if you are keen on public transport, the transport system in our country, the route system is almost pre-independent, 1940s, 50s era. So with the capital moving to Sri Jagadhanapura, we have not taken any change of routes to serve that capital city of Ayodhya. So there are so many lagging areas. So we can keep on complaining, but if we don't do anything, I think this is the right time to rethink about district delimitations and demarcations. Then I think you would love to see each district with about 1 million population, isn't it? Where you are headed, I can sense it. There is way.
Yes.
And
So with
also,
you, like when we are presented with this data only, we realize, how these anomalies, how, absurd they are.
actually, the political structure of the country also is deeply affected due to this, because very few people can elect a large number of legislators to the parliament from the northern sector, and it affects the ethnic composition of the parliament. It is not representative of the country, but it's a very controversial thing to do and unthinkable in these times. But moving on, I have the number of unoccupied or the zero consumption houses, Dr. Chandani, happened to be 306,000 units in uh, 2019. So we had it's about 5.4%. So I think it should match with the census data, but we will give the floor to some other people. Any more questions from the audience?
Mr. Harsh, I have two more if you allow me to, if it is all right.
Yes, please go on.
Yes. Okay, Vijay Bandar, now the other one also is bit out of the syllabus, but still, if you can, maybe you can respond. That is, we saw a huge, issue, rising related to our population saturation. Of course, I think even 10 years back, 15 years back, we knew that around 2021, we will have kind of a saturation, and we are seeing that now. But now, census and statistics, similar to med department, is it only your responsibility, finishes with, pointing these out, or do you actually go beyond that and do any analysis to see, the repercussions, or what the changes we need to do? Because I know that some developed countries, they know that population is economic growth. So even terrible people come into a country is good for the economy, because when you have numbers, that is good. But now Sri Lanka is going the other way, so we are losing people, and now elderly people numbers shares are increasing. So as a department, are you kind of analyzing beyond this, or you just give the data? And is there somebody else who is analyzing this? Because I think as a country, we should be seriously considering these, matters, because otherwise, we will have serious problems. We know that some other countries have taken drastic decisions when they see this kind of trends. Now that you have pointed it out, uh, is anybody else at least working on these, the issues?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. As the Department of Census and Statistics, we are mandated to provide official statistics for the country. Therefore, our main objective is to provide statistics in all angles. Here I have included only few indicators, but there will be more indicators and statistics which will be available like so far we have provided number of reports, and March, in the end of the March, we will provide a detailed final report, and also there will be few thematic reports in special subjects like aging population, disability, and all these. We will give statistics, and this is our mandate. And I think we are closely working with all the other administrative agencies who are how to say, who are responsible for different subjects, and they are at the moment also they are working with our data and closely we work with us and develop their policies, because we provide data and we show the current situation, and we show everyone what is happening. And those who are responsible for different subject areas, they have to take and see and plan. uh, i I agree with you. Our population, the structure of our population, we need to consider that as a very, sorry, that as a very important matter for the country. Yeah, thank you. And it's like we always ready to share the statistics for all these planning activities.
One
Okay, thank
other
you.
related question, Dr. Chandani. When can we establish, expect the population stability and decline to start in our country? It looks like it's not very far from now. Do you think we will reach the peak population anytime soon?
Arsha, I didn't get your question. So very sorry.
Yeah, now look, with the declining growth rates, I think we will reach the peak population very soon, and there will be a population decline thereafter. Any forecast or predictions you think
Uh,
at which point our
yeah.
country will reach the peak population?
Mr. Harsha, actually, I think I am not an expert to provide that information, because we have to work closely with the demographers, like professors who are working with the demographic subject, who they have to, we have to work with them in order to see that, because it's like I can, I cannot say anything about the predicted information at the moment, because now only we are providing this year's census data, and we have to work little more in order to answer your question, for my
Okay,
understanding,
yeah,
Mr. Harsha.
okay, thank you. And there's one more raised hands, Ranjana Bandara. You can speak up.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this chance to give my ideas. I am the former DG of the Department of Census and Statistics. I like to say, answer the previous question you raised about who are analyzing these issues in population related issues. There's a body called the Population Association of Sri Lanka, which is collection of various interested population related people and professors and many people in that association. So they are analyzing, and they sometimes raise issues and try to develop policies also. So if you can go to the web, they have a website, PASL, and you can see their activities. So I think if you join PASL, then you can do more analysis and discussions, and so many things are there. Events are there. That's what I want to mention. Thank you.
Thank you. And one important question, this again from me. Now that we have a aging population and a higher dependence ratio, isn't it a good time to think about extending the retirement age? Now, I am a recently retired person, so no personal bias here, but I feel great and I feel very healthy, and I think I have a shelf life of about 10 more years. So, why don't our country think about letting the older people to work even a couple of years more to just to correct this anomaly?
They are also and like I can say some my personal view for this one. I also agree with Mr. Harsha, but officially I think again that the by considering these statistics, not only that, by considering the all these factors, I think Sri Lanka also should get what has happened in other countries, what they have done, and all these case by case. By analyzing these things, I think those who are taking the decision for this one should consider this, because we are facing elderly population. We do have to take the best out of it. That I think Professor Lakshman once the demographer, I think from the University of Colombo, has explained that the silver economy as the aging population, and there should be ways, and we have to rethink how to use our elderly population for the betterment of the country. I think not only the increasing the uh, retirement age, but also how, if that is one side only, but we have to think how the experience, the knowledge, and their energy can be used for the betterment of the country when we have elderly population in the country. And we have to get the experience from other countries like Japan, how they use their elderly population for the development of the country. So it's a very important point, I think, Mr. Harshad, at the moment.
Actually, there is an interesting book I can recommend to all of you. It's written by a Japanese professor. The title of the book is The Platinum Society. They have gone a bit one more step above silver. It is the platinum, the color of the hair that he's referring to, and how to get the maximum out of a uh, seasoned professional is discussed in that book. Very interesting book. If you happen to visit Japan, look for a copy and buy that. I strongly recommend everyone reads it. Okay, so I don't think there are any more questions from the audience. Just one more. Uh, just let me allow her to talk. Dilhani, you can speak up.
Uh, Thank you very much, Dr. Chandani, for your very informative and fruitful presentation. Thank you very much for that. I am talking about the future engagement as SEA because now we are producing energy labeling program for household appliances. So we need to know in future how many houses are now apply those energy labeling. So in that case, if we need in the future, if we want to introduce questions regarding that, is it possible for us to do that with you?
Thank you, Ms. Dilhani. We will see. We can have discussions because census mainly include questions considering user requirements. Census collects data and prepare our questionnaires considering user requirements, like you, the Sustainable Energy Authority, or any other ministry, or any other research organizations. We allow when we find, before we prepare the questionnaire for the census, we get your needs. So at that time, I think, Ms. Dilhani, we will be able to consider your, because data is for the country, and we will see what is the possibility at that time, like with the next census or any other survey, we will be able to include those questions, because we all can, between the agencies, we can have discussions and come up with solutions for those, I think. for me as the director for the census division, I can't, at this moment, I can't say, okay, we will include, but we can discuss with DG and your organization. We'll see what we can do. I think we can support you for at our best level.
Actually, the cooking fuel questionnaire, the part of that was included in the schedule based on one of our requirements during Mr. Gunwardana's time, if I remember right. Mr.
Yeah.
Vimal Nadir of our organization led that discussion and got the questions included in the census questionnaire as a precursor to that in, I think, 2011, I think.
Yeah, this census also we have included considering your requirement, whether the housing unit has solar power energy, like for their source of lighting, as whether it is grid connected or standalone. That question was included. You know that census we have limitations because we are using a lot of external enumerators, and we have to make our questionnaire much more simple that we can have to have quality data. So these limitations are there. Anyway, we can discuss and continue. We are developing, and we are uh, arranging our surveys and censuses in order for you to have pair planning and the data that you want, users need. Okay.
Thank you very much. So that I think brings a close to the session. I think to propose a vote of thanks, Nimashi, you can take over.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vikramasinghe, for moderating the session. And once again, thank you, Dr. Chandani, for the very interesting presentation and also for fielding the questions. So that brings us to an end of the program. And we hope to see you at another interesting webinar like this in future. Until then, good night and have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.